Imagine a nation on the move, guided by a pillar of cloud by day and fire by night. A people chosen by God, yet struggling with doubt, disobedience, and the harsh realities of the wilderness. This is the book of Numbers, a story of faith tested, lessons learned, and God's unwavering presence. Let's journey through its pages together. The story begins with a census. God commands Moses to count the Israelites, organizing them by tribes and assigning roles for the journey ahead. The tabernacle, God's dwelling place, stands at the center of the camp, a reminder of His presence among them. Key takeaway: God is a God of order. He prepares His people for the journey, equipping them with purpose and structure. But the journey is not easy. The people grumble about the lack of variety in their diet, longing for the good old days in Egypt. God provides manna from heaven and quail for meat, yet their complaints continue. Moral lesson: gratitude is essential. Grumbling blinds us to God's provision and reveals a lack of trust in His plan. Even leaders face challenges. Miriam and Aaron, Moses' siblings, question his authority. God defends Moses, and Miriam is struck with leprosy. Moses intercedes for her, and after 7 days, she is healed. Key takeaway: leadership is a sacred trust. Disunity and jealousy undermine God's work, but humility and intercession bring healing. At the edge of the Promised Land, Moses sends 12 spies to scout Canaan. 10 return with a report of giants and fortified cities, spreading fear among the people. Only Joshua and Caleb trust God's promise to give them the land. The people rebel, and God declares they will wander the wilderness for 40 years. Moral lesson: fear paralyzes, but faith empowers. Trusting God's promises requires courage, even when the obstacles seem insurmountable. Rebellion erupts again, led by Korah, who challenges Moses and Aaron's authority. God judges the rebels, causing the earth to swallow them. To confirm Aaron's priesthood, God makes his staff bud, blossom, and produce almonds. Key takeaway: God's chosen leaders are accountable to Him. Rebellion against God's authority leads to destruction, but obedience brings life. Even Moses falters. When the people complain about water, God tells Moses to speak to a rock. Instead, Moses strikes it in anger. Water gushes out, but God declares that Moses will not enter the Promised Land. Moral lesson: obedience matters. Even small acts of disobedience have consequences, and leaders must model faithfulness. Balak, king of Moab, hires Balaam to curse Israel. But God intervenes, using a talking donkey to get Balaam's attention. Instead of curses, Balaam speaks blessings over Israel, declaring God's faithfulness. Key takeaway: God's plans cannot be thwarted. Even when others intend harm, He works all things for the good of His people. After 40 years, a new generation stands ready to enter the Promised Land. Moses commissions Joshua as the new leader, and the people prepare to cross the Jordan. Moral lesson: God's promises endure. Though the journey may be long, His faithfulness never wavers. The book of Numbers is a story of wilderness and faith. It shows us the consequences of disobedience, the power of intercession, and the importance of trusting God's promises. Through trials and triumphs, God remains faithful, preparing His people for the future He has planned. This is Numbers, a story of lessons learned, a story of hope renewed, a story of God's relentless love. Please subscribe, like and share to participate in sharing the gospel.